boyfriend's mother berated me last time we met. I refused to see her again. I, 26 female, have been dating Danny, 29 male, for almost a year. We moved to another city together a month ago so Danny could pursue an education to advance further in his career field. By the way, this comes from Electronic Sherbert 729. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I grew up in a big family. 5 siblings, 13 nieces and nephews, lots and lots of cousins. There's bickering, lots of poking fun at each other, shouting over screaming babies to be heard. Sometimes a totally normal conversation between a sibling and I comes off as fighting words to people who have not been around my family. My boyfriend has remarked that a regular conversation between my mother and I was coming off as aggressive. It cannot be a coincidence that multiple people have said so. So I realized that we must be reasonably perceived as aggressive in tone. He is an only child to a single mother, 50 female, twice divorced. His mother helped us move. It was a stressful move and we were running very behind. We moved at the beginning of December in an extremely cold climate. I really love plants and always have. I spend a lot of time taking care of my plant collection. I kept a garden for many years and it was my pride and joy. My prized possession is a giant monstera that I brought to life after finding it wilting and pest-infested some years ago.
Ooh, a nice little monstera. A large monstera.
His mom picked up my monstera and was stepping out the door with it into sub-freezing temperatures. I shouted, "No, no, no!" and quickly ran to find some sort of plastic covering for it so it wouldn't immediately pass away from the cold shock. I cover the plants and explain that they'll pass away from the cold. We continued packing. On the drive up there, I was reflecting back on that interaction and realized it probably came off like I was angry and I snapped at her. I wasn't angry at all. I just really did not want my plant to pass away, and my voice was louder than I had intended it to be. My voice was also deeper than it normally is. She goes, "No, no, no."
No, wait.
Because I was on the first day of being sick. Yay, sick while moving. I mentioned this to my partner and made a mental note to apologize to his mother later after things had gotten settled. We drove for 12 hours. We got to our new apartment late at night and spent a lot of time hauling boxes up the stairs. I felt like crap, but I was trying hard to keep a good attitude despite being sick. After the last of the boxes was brought in, I started putting some things away and making the beds. That's when his mother confronted me, and that's when you gotta get ahead of it. She was really angry with me. She said I totally overreacted and it was just a goddamn plant. And she thought it was something important. She thought I wanted to fight her? I immediately apologized, explained that I was not angry with her at all, and I was unhappy to hear that she stewed on this for 12 hours.
Well, I mean,
unfortunately, yeah.
You can't really control her being like, "I thought you wanted to fight me." It's like, well, yeah, that was not right.
Yeah, that's why if you notice something about how you said something and you're thinking about it, the person might be thinking about it too. Just best to get it out of the way. I hadn't realized it was that big of a reaction, and that wasn't my intention. She demanded to know if I would ever throw such a tantrum in front of my own mother. I was sort of surprised by this question because, well, I interact with my mother like that all the time.
She said, yeah,
I probably would do that. I gave an honest reply that, yes, I do speak to my mother that way, but that's normal for my family. While I realize that's normal for my family, I also realize it comes off as aggressive to other people, and I never want to make other people uncomfortable. I apologized again. She was not having it. She kept repeating how it's just a plant and thought it was something actually important. And she likes my relationship with Danny, and it sure would be a shame if that changed. It honestly felt like she was berating me and low-key threatening me.
Right, yeah, you'd be right about that, I think.
Yeah. I kept apologizing, and it felt like it wasn't good enough for her. I eventually asked if she forgave me, and she said she did. That was the end of the conversation. That night, it kept bothering me. No, not the cycle of stewing.
Just let it go, Elsa.
It felt like she was not interested in my apology. It felt like she wanted a pound of flesh with it. My partner asked if I was okay, and I answered honestly. No, I felt disrespected and humiliated. I tried to get some sleep, but couldn't. My cat was very vocal about how upset she was over the move, and I finally just locked myself in the bathroom with my cat and slept on the floor with her. She stopped meowing around 4 a.m. I came to the decision that I do not want to address this conversation with his mother. I just wanted to leave it alone, and I can deal with my own feelings privately. There's no need to have my own say, no matter how much I dislike the way she handled it.
Yeah, I think that's honestly probably the best. Like, all you can really do at this point is just let go of that and move forward, knowing that you didn't really do anything wrong. You made peace with it. You tried to.
I woke up the next morning feeling sore, sick, and extremely tired. Oh, NOP's also like sick while this is happening. I went out into the kitchen to start unpacking boxes. His mother was in the kitchen. I said, good morning. She said, Danny says you aren't over last night.
Come on, Danny.
Danny. And I understand he's probably like, Mom, you gotta like make nice.
Yeah, he probably came from a good place. But when she literally goes like, I just want to move on.
Yeah.
Then you're like, I'll do the opposite of that.
Let me make sure that she never moves on.
Yeah.
I carefully said that I don't think we should talk about it right now, that I'm very tired and feeling unwell, and I didn't want to say something I don't mean. She asked, what's that supposed to mean? I reiterated that I was feeling unwell and didn't want to talk about it. She almost let it go. Well, Danny's really upset, so I think we should talk about it. My first mistake was letting that slide. My second mistake was relenting to it. Danny then walks in. I start by saying that it wasn't just a plant. It was very important to me, and I felt like she wasn't respecting my belongings. Ooh.
And again,
no. But that wasn't the point of that wasn't the original conversation.
Well, this just isn't going to work.
Now it's a new argument.
It's not going to work at all regardless.
She blew the F up. She starts berating me again, caricaturing my reaction to the plant, and repeating herself over and over again. I start crying. She keeps talking over me. Danny says absolutely nothing, won't look at me, and keeps staring at the floor. Important note, I do not cry in front of other people. I have cried in front of Danny only one other time when my brand new car broke down and I didn't have the money to fix it. He knows I don't cry in front of other people. I excuse myself and I say, I need a break. She scoffs and looks at Danny like I'm being ridiculous. I leave the apartment and spend some time sobbing on the sidewalk. I call my mom and she calms me down. My mom tells me that I should not talk to Danny's mother again. There's nothing I can say that would make the situation better, and I should probably get some sleep to ward off the sickness and exhaustion. I find Danny and let him know I'm going to get some rest. I slept around the clock, waking up crying intermittently and taking more cold medicine. I don't hear a word from Danny. His mother leaves the next day. We spent the entire next week in a deep depression and a state of high anxiety. The apartment feels not good. I feel like I can no longer trust Danny to protect me or have my back. This is the first time I moved away from home. I don't have a car. I don't have a job. My support system is 12 hours away. I'm extremely vulnerable and effing terrified. Things have gotten a little better since then between Danny and I. I'm trying very hard to let my guard down and let Danny in emotionally. I stay at home every day and unpack, clean the apartment, apply for jobs, visit the gym, and make all of Danny's meals. I don't know what else I would do anyways. We live several miles away from town. I'm trying not to let the depression take over. We're going back home to visit my parents and his mother for Christmas. I'm extremely nervous as to how this will go. If his mother berates me again and he says nothing, I don't think I can continue being in this relationship. And have you communicated that with him? Because we haven't heard you having a conversation where you say, Danny, why did you say nothing?
Yeah, because if you don't talk, then Danny probably isn't going to, as someone who grew up with that woman who's probably used to the way that she is, he might not have the awareness that you are being affected this deeply by it, even though you were crying in front of him, even though that you are being impacted that way. If you don't say it, it's almost entirely impossible for him to know it.
What if I have to break the year-long lease I just signed? How would I even get back home? Do I just pack up a few boxes and my cat, leaving everything else I own behind? Do I move back in with my parents? Do I just let her chew me out again and take it? F. Am I totally out of line here? I want nothing to do with her. I have this horrible sinking feeling that spending 3 days with her is going to be the end of our relationship, and I will have nowhere to go. We leave tomorrow morning, and I feel sick just thinking about it. Ooh, how should I handle this? Conversation. I think there are some comments and an update, but you gotta go to Danny. And before you go on this trip, absolutely.
100%.
You have to have that conversation about how you felt in that moment. about, wanting to be a partner or partners now that you guys are living together. I mean, yeah, it's just not going to work long term if you don't have those conversations. Comment 1. If I'm understanding correctly, Danny told his mom you were still upset, but he didn't tell her what disrespectful knucklehead she was by dismissing your feelings about the plant and berating you about something you had already apologized for. And then he stood there quietly while she continued to mock you for caring about something until you cried. And you did everything you could to make him comfortable while he still did nothing to make you feel validated, secure, part of a partnership. One of the biggest reasons why moving in with someone quickly is a bad idea is that so many relationships are perfectly magical when you haven't run into any real conflict yet. The stress of moving, the way his mother treated you, those difficult situations are where you see who your boyfriend really is. Anyone can be caring and supportive when it's only words and gestures that don't require sacrifice. When people have to make choices like whether to stand up to mommy or let her emotionally one to ya, those choices reveal their real priorities and ideals. Your mom is right. You should not put yourself in a position where you're going to be talked down to and insulted because you misspoke and raised your voice in a moment of crisis, especially when you already recognized your mistake and apologized. I'd honestly just not go back and stay with your mom. She sounds great. Opie says, I think I just made my mind up on the matter. I'm not going. I'm way too vulnerable for that right now. I wouldn't even have a way out of it if things went sour. My parents and his mom don't live in the same town. They live in the same U.S. state, and it is not one of the small ones. Reply, we don't know what Danny said. Opie was not there when Danny talked with his mom. However, we know that Danny said something after first encounter, and that made mom escalate. Him telling mom something again would probably escalate the situation further. I really do not see how Danny could possibly achieve anything good by going to mom and complaining to her again. She very clearly escalated after that. Info, why would you move to a place out of town with no car, no job, no friends or family, and with a man you are not married to or engaged and dating for less than a year?
Dang, they really just asked, like, why would you live life?
Why did you do that?
Why are you living life?
Why are you breathing air?
Why are you alive?
Why do you know somehow you're going to get there? I ask this because when you are completely stuck with no money or protection, you are vulnerable to people treating you poorly. Plus, they realize there is nothing you can do about it. Highly suggest that you get one of your many relatives to get out there with a moving truck and help you move back home. You need to concentrate on your career. He can go to school on his own. Let his mother take care of him. And please don't tell me you co-signed a lease with a man and no job. If so, beg the landlord to let you get out of it. If you stay, you will just be the doormat, mistreated. Dang, maid. Wow. Good luck to you. OP says, I moved out of town with no car, job, or support system with a man I've been dating for less than a year because everyone, my support system, said I'd be crazy not to. I guess I thought you're supposed to be vulnerable with your intimate partner. He's never given me any reason not to be vulnerable. He's done construction work for my parents free of charge, $30K worth of work all summer. He handed me the keys to his vehicle with no hesitation when my vehicle went toes up. He almost refused to let me pay rent when I first moved in with him in September. He'll surprise me with arranged visits with my closest friends. He suggests we see my little brother's band performances. He's never pushed or prodded me to do something I'm uncomfortable with. He's been quick to apologize. He's been quick to say thank you. He is many things, and he is now arguably without a spine when it comes to his mother. He is absolutely not abusive. I've been with harmful men, and Danny is not cut from that cloth. Was it stupid to move out here with no job, vehicle, or support? Oh, yeah, big time. I'll cop to that. I'm not a bang maid. And despite this huge issue with his mother, no part of me believes he would treat me as such.
You know what? Clearly you're in love. You have a great guy. Everything's making sense. And there's just one element here, which is his mom and his inability to stand up to her, it seems, in an ineffective way.
I think that I don't think this is necessarily the end of the relationship.
Not at all.
I think they just need to have a conversation where she says, hey, I felt really abandoned in that moment. I felt alone, and I don't want to feel alone. I want our relationship to continue in a healthy way. And I want to feel like you have my back. Let's call the place Danny's mother lives in Ennsville. My parents live in Snakewater, the skinny of things. After initially holding firm to his decision that we'll be going to visit his mother in Ennsville, Danny reconsidered his decision. I got the sense that Danny was inspecting the state of our relationship the same way a man would inspect a table loaded with heavy, fragile material. At some point during the inspection, Danny decided to look underneath the thing and discovered the table was bowing. Worse, cracking. Underneath the weight, he had seriously underestimated. Danny told me he wanted to take me to Snakewater. He hadn't realized just how uncomfortable I was with going to Ennsville and hadn't realized that breaking up was a very real possibility. Danny took me to Snakewater, and I spent some time with my family and my best friends, which was wonderful and healing. Danny went to Ennsville by himself with plans to join me and my family for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. He swore he wouldn't resent me for it, and I believe him for the most part. And that's just on you and being vulnerable and stuff. It's scary to take people at their word. You want to make assumptions, but yeah, you can only go off the information that they give you.
Yep.
Now for the other fun things. My father is very unhappy with Danny. My father is a hardened Vietnam veteran who has committed outrageous acts of violence in his years, but he was tearing up when he asked Danny to take care of me after we move. He was very upset to receive a phone call from me, terrified in tears. The second day of being gone, my dad wanted to have a talk with Danny. I asked him not to stay quiet for now. He gave me his word that he would not say anything. I wanted to give Danny the courtesy he did not give me. I don't believe in scorekeeping or tit-for-tat dynamics in a relationship. I talked to Danny privately about my father's unhappiness and allowed Danny the opportunity to initiate the conversation himself, should he choose to do so. Danny talked to my father eventually. I do not know what was said between the two of them, and I won't ask. More fun things. Danny's mother sent him a text message towards the end of Christmas dinner, informing Danny that his stepfather of 10 years is passing away of cancer and has days to live.
Oh my. Wow. That is really hard news to compute in that amount of time.
This news was devastating. I quickly excused us from the table and found a room for Danny to grieve in privately. He called his mother, and I could hear her sobbing over the phone. I held him while he grieved with her. Wow, there's a lot of moving parts to this situation now. We finish up Christmas and drive the 12 hours back to our new home. Danny is acting, strange. I'm not surprised by any of his behavior. People do odd things when they are grieving, but some of it is a little unsettling. I feel like I am constantly getting on his nerves, or if I'm not getting on his nerves, I'm being used as a quick dopamine fix. He has 3 moods lately: angry, sad, aroused. He hadn't disregarded my consent or hurt me or anything like that. I'm just not sure any of this is healthy. He cries in the night and disassociates during the day. His stepfather passed away earlier this week. We decided to get him a plane ticket back to Ennsville so he can assist his mother with the final affairs. The plane ticket wasn't cheap and we couldn't really afford it, but it felt like the right thing to do. He's still in Ennsville right now and will be flying back tomorrow. Danny acknowledges that me skipping the Christmas trip Ennsville was the right decision. He still does not recognize how bad it was to let his mother mistreat me. It feels like he's doing mental gymnastics to not face the fact that his mother was in the wrong. I asked Danny how we will be handling parent conflict moving forward, and he could not give me an answer. Until he can give me an answer, I won't entertain the idea of coming within a country mile of his mother. I didn't want to admit it to myself, but I'm going to. His mother is an awful woman, and this is a Freudian circus I want no part of. I don't understand how Danny turned out to be such a social, outgoing, and ambitious young man being raised by a woman like that. I'm not even sure where to start untangling this mess. I had friends and family take me aside during Christmas and quietly tell me that they will come and get me out if I need. But you should never get out of full episodes of stories just like this.
That's right. Never.
You should get in them. And you can do that by going to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and searching up OK Storytime. My father was initially outraged by Danny's lack of action and wanted to move me back home immediately. My mother and brothers think I should give it more time, that Danny is worth the time and effort it will take to sort this out. I feel guilty for allowing my family to criticize Danny when Danny is vulnerable and grieving. I feel guilty for feeling unsettled by the constant nitpicking, zoning out, and being pawed at. I picked Danny up from the airport in the morning and will be immediately taking him to his college campus to begin orientation. There's way too much happening all at once. And that is the end of the story. The thing is, whenever you tell your friends or family about a mistake or something that's going on in your relationship, they will have thoughts and feelings about it.
That was why it's important to give them don't just talk about your partner when like something is wrong. Talk about them when things are good.
Yeah.
So that the people around you don't just
or
think
like
your partner's bad.
The
all
worst.
The time.
Yeah.